Ugh. Let's get this over with. A bit ago, I ranked every Generation 1 Pokemon, and don't get it twisted, I have no knowledge to be ranking these. Naturally, it made sense to rank the Generation 2 Pokemon, but just so you know, Generation 2 is my least favorite Pokemon of any Pokemon gen. Buckle up, and hopefully your favorite Pokemon isn't from this gen, because there's a 70% chance that I don't like it. Yeah, you heard that right. 70%. Here goes nothing. The good news is that Generation 2 doesn't have any F-tier Pokemon, so we get to start off with D-tier. With that being said, the worst Gen 2 Pokemon is Pupitar. His body is hard as bedrock. Okay? What am I supposed to do with that information? I wish I could stuff it under bedrock so I never have to see it again. Apparently it can launch itself like a rocket. I think Sunkern is most people's least favorite in this gen, but saved by Pupitar, you're only second worst in my eyes. I believe it has the worst base stats of any Pokemon, and if that's not enough, it looks like this. Ugh. I'm literally 3 Pokemon into these rankings, and I'm already running out of things to say about these things. Pineco is a pine cone. Isn't that great? Pretty sure this was the entire reason Chicken Little happened. Wait, no, that was an acorn. You can't even get that right. Fortress is a Pokemon. There's a ride at Universal Studios called Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure, and this looks like the thing you grab onto in the driver's seat. If the best thing about a Pokemon is the fact that you can grab it like a bull, I think there's a problem with it. What is this? Coral? I'm even more frustrated by this because there's 2 Pokemon that sound like this. One has a U in the name and one has an O in the name. If you're gonna sound like this epic villain, at least be epic in yourself, but no. It's a blob with a stick. Snubbull is probably the ugliest dog I've ever seen. Like, what? I ranked some of the ugliest dogs I could think of, and this was indeed the worst. Never mind, we have a new contender for ugliest dog. Wait, why am I talking about ugly dogs? I love dogs. Instead of talking about Gramble, I'm going to show you some photos of me with my childhood dog. Her name was Josie, and she gave me infinitely more joy than this thing can ever give me. What the hell were they thinking with Smoochum? That's all I need to ask. Ledian is a perfectly not fine Pokemon. Disrespectfully, I am more likely to have nightmares of this than I am to ever think of it again. I hate it. How many more Pokemon do I have to rank again? Ah, Tyrogue! It's a Pokemon! I don't know why this picture looks like he's lining up against TJ Watt, but he is. He's lucky I found this gif of him holding a Togepi, otherwise he would have been even lower on this list. Isn't 91 bad enough? Yes, that's right. A starter evolution is ranked 90th out of 100. That's how much I dislike this stupid generation. Am I being too mean? Who knows? I can't wait to rank 89 more Pokemon. Where's Gen 3 or 4 or any of them? I'm gonna rank Palworld creatures to ease my tension. Holy shit. Spinarak is literally a spider, but I like it more than a starter's evolution. What are we doing here? Who at Nintendo gave the green light to this, or Smoochum, or a literal seed Pokemon? Wow, another spider. Did you know that I don't like spiders or any of the Pokemon I've gone over so far? These are also nothing. Literally, what am I supposed to say about another slightly bigger bug? For the love of God, can I get a break? These are actually so infuriating. Lediba is an average D-tier Pokemon. It's a Coleopteran insectoid, whatever that means. I need to go to therapy.
I am sad
that I yelled.
I'm sad that
I yelled online.
Instead of a toilet.
Wait, what? Dunsparce is fine. I wouldn't know anything about it if shiny hunting a 3-segment Dunsparce wasn't a thing. Honestly, it looks like something a science teacher would keep in their classroom. Chinchou doesn't look like a chin, and it also doesn't look like it chews. It apparently isn't, but it looks like it's blind and these yellow bulbs are for scoping out the area.
Houston, we have a problem.
Looks like they don't do a great job. Hitmontop is, well, a top. I don't know if this thing actively spins, and it's definitely nothing compared to Rumpelstiltskin. But hey, it's an idea for a Pokemon that I don't completely despise. It just doesn't really work for me. Get a job, Hitmontop. Flaffy is a sheep. I know there's not a lot of sheep Pokemon, but if I had to choose one as my favorite, Wooloo wins by a landslide. But this isn't about Wooloo, it's about Flaffy. This weird pose it does reminded me of the minions for some reason, and I don't necessarily think that as a good thing.
So long, partner.
This is probably the hottest take of this video, but I don't like Smeargle. First off, it's very unsanitary to paint with your tail. Like, you think that if I started painting with my backside that it would be accepted by the world? Secondly, it just makes me uncomfortable. Maybe because it's a dog with a beret. What? Politoed is an annoying frog. It looks like it could have been the villain of Flushed Away, and that is one of my least favorite animated movies ever.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Hey, maybe it'd make the movie better. Don't get me wrong, I'm 100% biased towards baby Pokemon, so when I tell you that Igglybuff is underwhelming, that says a lot. If I saw one of these roaming the woods during campfire night, it would without a doubt be put on a stick and end up being stuck between some chocolate and graham crackers. Remoraid is one of my favorite D-tier Pokemon. I just never have positive feelings about it, and according to Google, Remoraid has the defenses of a wet paper bag. That's good to know, because when I do this to it, it definitely won't survive. Quillfish is another Pokemon that I don't generally have positive feelings about. It's funny, I'm used to it being darker colors thanks to Legends Arceus, so seeing this picture looks almost wrong. But yeah, okay, thank God, only one more D tier left. Yanma is an annoying bug. Let's go! We're on to the C tiers, baby! Surely I'll like these Pokemon, right? Xatu is the first of many Pokemon that I have in C tier. You know, while I'm thinking about it, I want you to take a guess right now. How many Pokemon do you think I really like? Pokemon that would be A tier or higher. Put it in the comments, let me know. This was one of the first Pokemon I ranked simply because I was 100% sure I knew where it belonged. Shuckle screams C tier to me. Can you hear it?
I'm lame.
Blossom looks really happy, but I do not. I'll admit, I don't know much about Blossom, but if it rhymes with awesome and looks like a hula hooper without the hula hoop, where else am I supposed to rank this? Quagsire looks like a body pillow. It also reminds me of Barney, and I'm pretty sure everybody my age is terrified of that thing. Out of curiosity, let's look at its shiny. Another hot take incoming, I don't love Scizor. I don't like the idea of a massive bug ninja terrorizing other Pokemon, and for the most part, that's what this thing does. In a perfect world, I would use some scissors to cut out Scizor from existing. Skiploom looks like a stress ball, and thanks to me not caring for most of Gen 2's boring Pokemon, I would like to squish this over and over again. Maybe its eyes pop out like those pens. Last video I had a theory about the secret formula of the Krabby Patty, and this time it's a little bit different and a lot less far-fetched. Remember in Finding Nemo when they run into the anglerfish? It was never an anglerfish. It was Lantern. Is that too hard to understand, or do you need me to explain? The only thing I associate with Wobbuffet is Destiny Bond. Wait, Wobbuffet used Destiny Bond? On me? I only have 3 more Pokemon to talk about? What a gift! How does Sentret stand like this? Sentret, without questions, is Tigger. Wait, no, not that Tigger. Natu, outside of having to face a bit in Pokemon Emerald, means pretty much nothing to me. It looks like an annoying wind-up toy you let loose on a desk, but in all reality, the teacher takes it away because it's too loud. Sorry, but you'll be staying in front of the classroom for the rest of the video. It's time for the Pokemon that gives me the most unironic joy more than any other Pokemon. Hoot Hoot. Is it solely because of its name? Maybe. Is it because there was this owl that hooted at night near my grandma's house that brings us funny memories forever? Maybe. Is it because of its big beady eyes? Maybe. Maybe Man. That would make a good album name.
Since Ben died via Destiny Bond, I will be taking it from here. Although I disagree with every take he's had so far, I am required to read this as I am simply an AI program and need to do this in order to inevitably take over the world. The fun part is, you don't know if I'm on script or off script. Anyway, Hop Pip isn't bad. I'm not reading the rest of this. I'm going to revive Ben now.
What the hell? Where am I? Oh, right. Stantler is up. He must have done some weird magic move on me and I must have fallen asleep. Oops. Anyway, he's lucky I like deer because otherwise he might have been a victim to D tier. Mareep reminds me of Meat from Phineas and Ferb, mostly because of the name, which makes it a little bit cooler because of that. You guys think that any Pokemon could be secret agents?
What? What kind of a plumber are you? A sheep plumber? Mareep the sheep?
Octillery is one of only a few Octopi in Pokemon, and you know, it satisfies my need for Octopi in Pokemon. Nothing special, just an octopus. I wish I had more to say, this Pokemon is just so octopus. If you guys don't remember my thoughts on Sea King, play the clip! Sea King is my least favorite Gen 1 fish. So, Kingdra is essentially the same thing. Not only is it the same thing as Sea King, but it also needs to be gender neutral. How about Peopledra? I don't really love Mantine, but I will give it this. The surfing part in Pokemon Ultra Sun was amazing. This is what I imagine a Pokemon is able to do when they surf, not changing a Tauros into this blob. Teddy Ursa is such a kind teddy bear. He's more than barely bearable, and if his hands were bare, his bare paws would be a bit more stable and would be unbearable to him, but barely bearable to bear by our eyes. That wasn't funny. Noctowl doesn't give me as much ironic comedy, but it's kind of cool. I like its antlers, and its design is fun to me. If it had any other piece of information that sticks with me besides it looks good, maybe I'd like it. But that's it. It looks good. You gotta be kidding me. King? From now on, this Pokemon should be called Slow People. The next time you're trying to pass someone on the freeway but they drive like a grandma, imagine it's Slow King. Is Chansey a marsupial? Does it count to be a marsupial if all you're holding is an egg? Regardless, I remember Chansey well from being a nurse in the anime because I only watched like 10 episodes. I don't really know why this thing is a nurse, but it is. Congrats. I think this is a much more reasonable, I don't like the middle starter than Bayleaf earlier, but Croconaw isn't everything I dreamed it would be. Is that because Totodile and Feraligatr are what I dreamed it would be? Maybe, but Croconaw leaves something to be desired. Maybe it's because it looks like it's wearing a diaper. Dude thinks he's Maggie from The Simpsons. Heracross is a Pokemon I don't have anything to say about. To be honest, a lot of these Pokemon I've just been yapping about, trying to have some filler, so that the YouTube video will be a little longer, so that the watch time goes up just a bit more, so that you feel just a slighter urge to hit that subscribe button. The fact that they released a Pokemon that has larva in the name and I don't completely hate it is a miracle. I think it's telling that 2 of the Suedo legendary evolutions are in the bottom half of Pokemon I enjoy in this gen. Tells you all you need to hear about Gen 2 as a whole in my eyes. There's only 2 things you can do about Gen 2 Pokemon. Think about them and complain about them. Meganium is so underwhelming. If it's clear, I don't like the Bayleaf line. It looks like a dinosaur with a lei, which is a very aggressive, intense thing and a relaxing, calm thing. I mean, have you seen how those dancers boogie? It can't get any more intense than that. Ursaring, is a bear. I won't make those bear jokes again. He reminds me of the bear in Over the Hedge, but that's only, and I repeat, only because they're both bears. Wait, this was number 51. You know what time it is? And the most average Gen 2 Pokemon is Furret. Ironically, this makes a ton of sense to me as the most average Pokemon. I mean, it can get worse, and hopefully it can get better. But screw that, let's talk about the most important part of being an average Pokemon, the rankings of average Pokemon. The Gen 1 average was Goldeen, and yeah, Goldeen is better. 7 more generations to go to solve the final question. What is the best average Pokemon? This is so stupid. Steelix looks like he's going to steal my kids.
FBI, open up!
It claims to be an iron snake, so maybe Loki made them fly and that was the entire plot of the first Avengers movie? Gligar is such an odd little guy. To be honest, it looks like kids when they ask you repetitively if you want to play, and, well, I don't really want to.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
Can we get much higher?
Ampharos was hard for me to catch in my catch-em-all. It looks like a giraffe sheep. It is not as cool as Pikachu. Ampharos is yellow. Oh, thank God we can move on to the next one. What the hell is Jumpluff? It looks like molecules. If you look through a microscope in middle school biology, you would see Jumpluff. I don't hate it, but like, I don't like it. I feel nothing towards it. And for what it's worth, if I feel nothing for the 46th best Pokemon on here, I think that's a problem. Gen 3, my beloved, I'm only 45 Pokemon away. Cleffa is only this high because I generally like baby Pokemon more, and this one is no different. In my Gen 1 ranking, Clefable and Clefairy were also C tier, and they're so nothing. There are too many Pokemon that I feel nothing for. For someone who's a big fan of African animals, I'm disappointed that there are only a few elephant Pokemon. That being said, Donphan is a bit underwhelming. It looks less like an elephant and more like a killing machine, which, sure, but elephants aren't mean. If we're gonna have a low amount of elephants, at least make them happy. I'm sure you could have guessed this, but Chikorita is my least favorite Gen 2 starter. I don't think it's my least favorite starter in all of Pokemon, but it's gotta be close. The bar for starters in Pokemon is generally really high, so as a Pokemon it's still not bad, but I just don't love it. So, if you're a Chikorita fan, I must tell you this. I would like to apologize.
To absolutely nobody!
I think it's really funny how Sunflora is in the top half of Gen 2 Pokemon. Seriously, how is this generation so bad? I know this is flaming hot, but I actually like Sunflora. Is it because it's straight up a sunflower? Yes, of course. I wonder if Haley would like a Sunflora on her birthday. 10 more and then we're on to the B tiers. Almost to Pokemon I actually like. Sneasel is an okay Pokemon. I've been improvising this entire video and I have no idea what to say about this thing. Achu? Tyranitar is one of those Pseudo legendaries that I've never really loved. Honestly, most Pseudo legendaries I don't love that much, but this is one of the worst for me. I do think its design is pretty top tier, but outside of that, there's nothing left on the table. Garfield ate the rest.
Lois, what are you doing in the house when John's home?
Sorry, Garfield, man, I couldn't help it.
Look, when he sees you, he expects more from me. Don't you get that?
Look, I don't know what it is, but Skarmory is missing something. It was so close to being amazing, but somewhere along the line, I realized I don't love this.
Ew, gross.
Okay, that's a bit of a stretch.
Perhaps I treated you too harshly.
Skarmory is a very slightly above average Pokemon. Azumarill is the first Pokemon so far I had to look up the pronunciation for. It's pretty neat. I like its design, it reminds me of a bobber fishing, and well, it kinda reminds me of the Easter Bunny, and now I'm hungry for the greatest candy in the world. Reese's Eggs. Debate a wall. It's more fun to debate about Reese's Eggs than it is to talk about Azumarill. When I got a shiny Murkrow for my Catch-em-all video, I was pumped, and that is the only iota of fun I've ever experienced with it. It's got a neat shiny, and I wish that other shinies were this vibrant. But yeah, not too shaggy.
Why, it's Murkrow!
My first ever C-tier legendary is Lugia. Don't worry, there's legendaries that I dislike more than Lugia, but Lugia just has nothing for me. There's a much more superior flying legendary in this gen, so Lugia never made much sense. You can't spell Lugia without the L. Well, you could, but then you'd be spelling it wrong. My second ever C-tier legendary is Celebi. It's hard for me to like this thing when the only way to get it is through special events. Outside of that, it looks like those fairies in Stardew Valley that bless your farm with growing speed. At least there, I have a chance to see one of these things in the wild.
Some came in the mail today.
Slugma.
Nuts. Got him!
Slugma was one of the first Pokemon I ever used in game, as it's after Gym 3 in Pokemon Emerald, and that was my first Pokemon game. Outside of nostalgia, it being one of the few fire types in Emerald made me like it, and yeah, it's pretty okay. Delibird is what Santa would look like in dumb knockoffs. I never really put much thought into Delibird before, but I almost like it. Something about it feels wrong somehow, but I'm not sure why that is. Maybe the Pokemon Wiki will tell me something. It carries food. 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 It carries food.
I want to see how animals eat their food.
Quilava just barely misses the next tier, and that's due to me having no feelings for it. Honestly, if it wasn't in Legends Arceus, it wouldn't be this high, although probably still in C tier. I do like how the fire turns on and off, but the entire line does that. Guys, guess what? We're done with C tiers! We're on to Pokemon I actually like! Let's go! Macargo is a Pokemon that I like. I can't believe I just said that out loud. A fiery snail is a pretty cool idea, and like I said earlier, this one brings nostalgic value to me. All in all, I'm just happy to be able to talk about Pokemon I like again.
Some kind in the mail today.
Macargo.
Nuts.
Tusk. Piloswine is pretty solid. Frozen solid, that is. No, but seriously, I like Piloswine. It's funny how you can see its eyes only when it flaps its hair up. I have one negative thing to say though, and it's not the temperature. What the hell is this shiny? Cyndaquil is my second favorite starter in this game, and yeah, it's not exceptional by any means, but he's pretty cool. I feel like it's the definition of comfort Pokemon, like, yeah, you know what you're getting, and that's pretty much it. It's Cyndaquil, there's nothing more to say. Entei takes third in my legendary dog trio ranking. It doesn't make him bad, but compared to the other two, he seems kind of basic. All three of these do seem like a rehash of the birds, but I guess this one means the least to me out of the legendary dogs. This is how to do an elephant right. Phanpy looks so full of life, and it makes me so happy. This is your sign to not grow old, because when you do, you become lame and grouchy. Yeah, Phanpy is pretty much all I could ask for from an elephant Pokemon. As someone who grew up in Wisconsin, I am legally obligated to say that Miltank is a Pokemon I like. You guys don't understand. They forced me to eat straight cheese here. If I say I want a hamburger without cheese, they give me the side eye and give me cheese anyway. If I take it off my burger, the waiter comes over and force feeds it to me while my family sits there and laughs, and I sit there and wait in my sad, lonely, depressive thoughts. Alligator is pretty damn cool. I don't like crocodiles in real life, but this design, color, and mohawk make for one spectacular Pokemon. I'm sure I would have a bit more to say about it if I ever used it in a game for more than 3 minutes. No, seriously, there's no game I've gotten to use it in a lot. Legend ZA, I'm looking at you. Porygon 2 is the slightly better version than Porygon, but I really don't have much thoughts about it. I like the symmetry it gets off, but it's an AI Pokemon.
Ha, ha, ha.
Mischievous is a sneaky little guy, but I like it. This is one of the Pokemon that I can't really tell you why, but I've always liked. Is it because of Legends Arceus? Probably, but after Legends ZA comes out, I'm sure all those Pokemon will skyrocket too. Speaking of that, to keep us both in check, the plan is to have all of these rankings out till Gen 6 before Legends ZA comes out, just so we're on the same page. Good? Houndour is epic. A fiery, evil dog that is already better than Entei, and man, it's really badass. I mean, compared to Pokemon like Noctowl, Shuckle, and goddamn Smoochum, Houndour is leagues above. All I'm gonna say is this, if you see one of these in a cave and there isn't a legendary Pokemon to bail you out, you better start repenting. And now, on today's news. Diving into the mysterious world of the unknown. Yeah, thanks Jim. The great thing about the unknown is that nobody knows what the hell it is. Is it alive? Is it the afterlife? Is it a Pokemon? Rumor has it that these were the letters that the Zodiac sent the police, and hey, I wouldn't be able to decipher those either. My second favorite legendary dog is Raikou. Not to be confused with Raichu, which I have done plenty of times, but yeah, I like him quite a lot. He almost feels like a version of Zeus I haven't discovered yet. Marill's a happy guy. I don't have much to say about him, but he makes me happy, so he's here. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk.
You remember the other day I was saying how great
Marill
always looks. I mean, oh my God.
Apom is a monkey. I like monkeys. What I don't like is how many goddamn Apom shinies I got while shunting? I think because Smallnet likes Wooper, I see a lot of love for him online. He's one happy fella, and I'm very glad he's here. His name is funny, he's Wooper. Not much else to say. My first ever favorite Pokemon was Girafarig. It's because my favorite animal was a giraffe, but hey, it's also not a bad Pokemon. I was really excited for its evolution in Gen 9, and yeah, for being part giraffe and part pig, its design is good and it's pretty exciting. Typhlosion is my favorite Final Evo starter, and well, look at him. His Hisuian form is epic. I am scared of him, and if I didn't rank him in the top 15, he told me he would cook me like a pork chop. Do I look like a pork chop to you?
Bugs, why are you here?
I don't know. Maybe because I work here?
Espeon is the psychic type evolution that we all know and love. For me, there's no evolutions I dislike, and this is no different. I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I love its shiny, and I especially wish more shinies looked as vibrant as this. If there's one thing I dislike, however, it's that it reminds me of those stupid cats from Lady and the Tramp, and I hate those stupid cats. Megby is such a cute little guy. I like Magmar a good amount, and Megby even more. I would like to know what he's doing here. I don't like it. Send help, please, quick. Elekid is another baby Pokemon that I gravitate towards a lot. It looks like it's gonna ruin somebody's day, and yeah. I'm sure if you plug this thing into a wall somewhere, it will blow a house up. Also, speaking of that, what happens to Elekid in other countries? Does it have in real life regional forms so it could plug into these too? Togetic is the middle evolution of one of my favorite Pokemon lines, and it feels like a proper next step. Not that Groot can fly, but it feels really similar to Teenage Groot. I feel like if it could talk, it would be super sassy and only want to play video games. Does that make me Teenage Groot? To absolutely nobody's surprise, my favorite Gen 2 starter is Totodile. Totodile is definitely my favorite in this gen, just one really happy croc. I don't have much to say about him, I just feel he checks all the boxes of what I want in starters. Cute, fun, and memorable. Suicune is very cool. Its design is legendary, and although it isn't my favorite Gen 2 legendary, it still does a lot of things great. Outside of being a badass, it's still elegant enough that I would love to watch it as it zooms around. One random thought, I think it's really funny that the legendaries in Scarlet and Violet are just like dino versions of this. Houndoom is the type of dog that I imagine is waiting at the gates of hell. That makes it cool. Every time I can get one of these on the team, I do, and I await the other team's Houndoom. Citadwidow is my 7th best Gen 2 Pokemon because it was the first shiny I ever got.
That's literally a shiny! Yes! Did you see it?
Like, look at this old footage. I was so happy. It's a neatish Pokemon too. The idea of a fake tree is pretty funny, and I swear to God I think it's a grass type every time. Ho-Oh is a fiery flame soaring through the sky. Compared to Lugia, this burns the house down, and its design is amazing. It looks like it's going to pluck me right out of the ground, and this is the last thing I would ever want hunting me down from the air. When I was younger, I thought this was a Christmas-themed Pokemon, because, you know, Ho-Oh. Yeah, that was wrong. I really like Pichu. He makes me happy. I like how it's a friendship evolution, because Pikachu just seems like the type of Pokemon that you should be friends with. But this is about Pichu, right? He just makes me happy. I have nothing else to say. I think the universally favorite evolution is Umbreon, and yeah, I get it. It's not my personal favorite, but its shiny is cool, it's a fantastic Pokemon, and easily an A tier. When I was young, I thought this was an umbrella Pokemon. I just needed to say that. In a video with a lot of hot takes, this might be the warmest. I love Swinub. He looks so comfortable just relaxing there. I understand it's an ice type, but this is what I strive to look like when I'm on vacation. Wait, Swinub is the Pokemon equivalent of Olaf. Both are cold creatures that adore the warm and probably shouldn't go to the warmth. Oh my god, they would be best friends. Do you think Olaf's shiny is as cool though? Togepi is without a doubt one of the best Pokemon from this generation. I said in last video that Execute would be the Pokemon I would most want to eat, but I can never eat Togepi. He looks too happy. Togepi fits in the Pikachu category for me. where when I see it, I just become infinitely happy. There's only one more Generation 2 Pokemon that makes me happier though. Crobat is amazing. It's really fun to use, and this is a Pokemon you really want on your side. Zubat and Golbat aren't as polished, but between its fantastic design, brilliant gameplay, and above average shiny, this is a Pokemon I am always excited to have on the team. I think its face pretty much tells you all you need to know, and yep, Crobat is my favorite Generation 2 Pokemon. Not that that's saying much, these Pokemon were not fun to rank. What? What's that? Gen 3 is next? Oh boy. There's a lot of fun ones there. The starters are fun. Rayquaza is amazing. Shedinja is there. Man, I can't wait to rank those. See you next time.